What's up, guys? It's me, BronzeGod321, and welcome back to the channel. Today is going to be our first weight loss update. In addition to that, I'll just be going over kind of how I've been feeling during the week, the wins, the losses, the things that I'm looking to improve on for this next week, and everything in between. So before we get into that, if you're not subbed, make sure you hit that sub button to make sure you're following me, and then hit the notification bell for whenever I have videos go live so you're notified. That being said, let's get into it. So the first thing is I have a Fitbit that I've had for a while that I, for some reason, couldn't get to work. Like, it unsynced and I couldn't get it to sync to my phone, so I was kind of hoping to have like a weekly screenshot of kind of like all the activity I had, or at least what I could log, but that didn't happen, so I'm hoping to have that set up next week. However, in this week, the first actual full week of working out and doing everything I need to, lost 5 pounds, so not bad. There's definitely the little piece of me that was thinking I'd be losing a lot more, especially with my weight and everything, but I can't really let that get to me. A loss is a win. I think most people have heard that, on average 1 to 2 pounds a week is kind of where the sweet spot is as far as losing it slowly and healthily. So despite how much I want to lose every week, as long as I'm at 2 or more, it's a win, so I'll take it. Now, in addition to that awesome win, there are a few other smaller accomplishments that I wanted to talk about. The main one is the first week that you get into anything, whether it's quitting smoking or any kind of habit changing thing, the first week kind of sucks. I definitely had a lot of discomfort. I was definitely I don't want to say pain, but there were definitely days where I was just like, geez Louise, man, I don't want to do this. But that's the thing when you're starting off, is as soon as you can push through it, it's going to stop at some point. For instance, my lower back is probably the biggest been the biggest issue for me right now. Like, when it comes to cardio, I love just walking. Once I lose some weight, I'll get into jogging again, but right now I could walk 3 or 4 miles and have a problem. However, the lower back thing is a killer, because I would make it maybe a half mile or less, and I have to stop and take a breath or lean over and just stretch to make sure it feel better. And it just lingered and lingered and lingered. And finally yesterday, it didn't go away, but it was definitely a lot less worse. And those are the little wins. Like, it's awesome to see the weight come off, but like, those are the wins where it's like, okay, now progress is starting. So even though I'm going to be focusing on that, the number of how many pounds I'm losing, internally, that first time someone says, hey, have you lost weight? Or, when I go to put my pants on in the morning, in a couple weeks, I'm going to put them on, I'm going to put it at the same spot, and I'm going to be like, oh crap. Okay. And then you cinch it a little closer. Those are the real notifications that you're making progress. So, when you look in the mirror and you don't see any progress, and even if you have a couple weeks where you don't see the scale move in a positive direction, or you're doing really good and then you fall off in the middle of the week when you wouldn't, with whatever it is that you're trying to do, you can't beat yourself up about it. And as much as I'm preaching that right now, I definitely had some bouts of that myself. For instance, I want to say it was like Thursday. I got home, set out to do my normal 3 to 4 mile walk, made it a mile, and it was just one of those days where you're just not feeling it. My mind that day was more powerful than my willpower, and I just went straight back home, took a shower, went to bed. And the next morning, I didn't feel bad, but I definitely beat myself up about it a little bit. And it's important that when that happens, you kind of take a seat back, because those are the little tiny moments that you can pretty much self-sabotage, because you're doing all this work, you have one bad day, and instantly the thought of the fact that you're not doing it all of a sudden just ruins everything you've done for the last week or 2 weeks or month or however long, that happens. And I've gone through it a billion times. I mean, the number of times I've started and stopped and had one bad week, or had a cheat day, or ate something I normally wouldn't have on a particular day, and then instantly I go to the place where I just go, yeah, that I just screwed everything up, and then just stopped. It's important you don't do that. So when you do have those small losses or take some small L's during the week, it's not the end of the world, because I've come a long way even in a week, and whatever you are doing out there, you've come a long way, and you have to make sure that you don't stop. That's pretty much it. So with that being said, I'm looking forward to this week a lot. The first week's down, probably one of the toughest. The second week's probably going to still be a little tough, but not as hard as starting off. But now that I have somewhat of a schedule going, the goal is to be productive pretty much every day. In the attempts that I've made and succeeded, my regimen was usually 5 days a week at the gym, and then I would walk 3 to 5 miles every day, regardless. The walking is like a must, even on my cheat day or the day that I decide to indulge a little bit. Got to get that walking in, or that cardio, or whatever. It's just super important, mainly just to keep that precedent. You got to keep that structure. You got to really just start making those lifestyle changes to make sure you hammer it into yourself that you just have to do it. And even though I'm still struggling with that a little bit, it's coming, and it's definitely improving. And so this week, I work 5 days this week, and I have a very big philosophy that when it comes to doing any kind of lifestyle change, but specifically weight loss, that work days are good days. So if you're at work, it's very easy to not pig out because you're working. You've got all this stuff going on, you don't have the time. So it's easier for me, and maybe it is for you. So give it a shot if you want to try that. On the days you work, you got to be. It's basically just like having a second job. You do what you need to do, and then you look forward to your days off. And on those days off, you can do whatever you want. I'm trying to keep doing whatever I want in check to a certain point, because obviously I don't want to go too overboard. But overeating has been one of my addiction. Might not be too much, but I enjoy doing it a lot, and I'll go into it in another video in the future. But you have to make those self recognitions on what the issues are, and if you do them, plan ahead. That way you don't go so overboard that you're doing any damage. And yeah, so I think that's pretty much it for this week. I said next week I'll hopefully have a bunch of other slides and stuff to go over with everybody. But week one, got a good loss. Just seeing that effort pay off is it's addicting. And every time I've tried to do this, I always forget how the first week feels after all the crap. And I'm looking excited to what next week brings, and I hope you're there to see it. So I hope you guys have a great day, and we'll see you in the next video. Later.